boy, he be liking all my pictures. What's going on, Corey? Is clocked in. Yes, honey. I'm waiting on the guys. We supposed to be having trans talk. I don't know where Miss Thing is, honey. Like Miss Thing, come to the live, honey. Whoa. Whoa. How do I mute myself to cuss somebody out real quick? Like I didn't just I was going. Dale, didn't I say I was recording? Close your door. Children, honey. I swear to God. You need to come across a sugar daddy. I ain't got time for no motherfucking sugar daddy, baby. That is a dead dream of mine, honey. Sugar daddies, for one. No, I'm not wasting my time. Bitch, if anything, I'm trying to become somebody's sugar mama. Yes, you could trust and believe. Honey, my man, woman of peace don't have to work, honey. Well, not right now because I'm struggling. So we're not talking about right now at this moment. But I'm saying, hypothetically, I'd be open to taking care of my peace, honey. You could stay home. I actually had that arranged with one of my exes. Yeah, I had that arranged with one of my exes once I graduated and started my career in psychology. We was going to have a kid, whether biologically or other. And he was going to be the stay-at-home dad. I don't trust people with my children. Honey, protect the children, honey. You said, wait, I didn't hear you. Somebody text. Well, you missed the T, honey. D&D, that motherfucking phone. Matter of fact. To Kiki with my friend. And I don't know where my friend is. We literally just talked right before I came on live, honey. I was just saying you ain't really miss nothing. You ain't miss nothing goody. I was just saying that if anything, I would be a sugar mama. I don't want no sugar daddy. I I don't want no sugar daddy. If I fall in love with you and you have the means to be a sugar daddy, then by all motherfucking means, I'm damn sure not gonna be working for the motherfucking white man. However, I don't. That's not a requirement, and I'm just gonna use your money to build my own anyway. But I was saying, Goody, that I would be open to being a sugar mama. If I could financially sustain myself and my partner, why not? I'm not pressed about a motherfucker working. I'm not like you getting up and going to clock in does nothing. That does not make my pussy wet. Now I need you to do that motherfucking shit right now, cause bitch, I can't afford to take care of neither one of us. It's a struggle. It's a struggle out here right now. But let a bitch make it. Let a bitch get a cute little contract or something. You can sit in the house and use your tongue on me all day long. I feel like I wouldn't date anybody or even humor anybody who is not my equal. I feel like my partner could definitely be my equal without it having anything to do with finance. Maybe the way I grew up um, plays a part in my perception. Um, my stepfather was the primary, well, he was the breadwinner, and it was given coin. It was giving coin. He made enough coin that if a bitch worked, she did it just because she wanted to. And honey, my mother wasn't dumb, honey. She was like, bitch, I ain't working. Honey. She spent her time with her motherfucking children. That's why I turned out so fast. But no, my mother and my stepfather, from my perspective, were definitely equals in the house. Even though she was not the earner in the sense of going out and making the money, she definitely played her part and did her thing in taking care of money, managing money, taking care of the household, blah, 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 whatever. Yeah, I'm not, for me, honestly, like, all this shit is racist, honey. All this shit is racist, you know. Um, if I could save my partner from having to work for white people and deal with their bullshit, honey, stay your ass in the house, honey. If anything, manage a bitch. Help me build this motherfucking social media influencer career, honey. I'm telling the people that you, I can, I love, I got to click on my name. It should be a circle around my name, my picture, my screen name, and you. I was clicking invite on you too. Okay, the people in waiting for you. Oh, baby, I'm back. Sorry about that. That was my good friend, honey. Apparently, no, it paused because I was on the call, Trinity Daddy. I'm sorry. The person that I'm going live with calls me, and apparently we was both live at the same time, and you know the currents on and the currents.
Oh, we in business, baby.
Finally, finally.
Listen, I had got on my live, like, what's going on? I said, this is giving technical difficulties.
Okay. I said the same thing. I was like, where's Miss Thing? And honey, the look was already together. Oh,
Well, okay, so some of my people have started watching, like Deanna. Hi, Deanna. So they're like pouring in. So you'll see some of them come in as we go along. But honestly, first of all, let me just say you look delicious as usual. Per period.
Frank, you look
Okay.
over, bitch. You look like a
Thank
work of art, bitch.
Thank you, darling. So I'm really excited. I really thought that based off of what we talked about last time, which was on your show LGBTQ plus singles, it was literally so much dialogue that I feel like we could have pulled and went left into, but we was obviously trying to keep track on what we were talking about.
Yeah.
And I kid you not, I am so excited to just like go over so many topics with you. But obviously, I want to do it in the realms of conversation centering around just the trans experience and our experiences in different subsections of being trans, and like basically how that intersect and basically in our everyday lives and just in constructural society norms too. So, without further ado, let's get on into the gist, darling.
Yes, yes, honey. What you over there doing? How you feeling?
You know what? Yes, you know what? Let's do a little check in real quick because I'll tell you this. I'm over here in Nevada, as you know. And last time we talked, I was talking about, oh, it's so hot and blah, 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 blah. Baby, it's been raining and thundering and muggy as fuck
It's the
here.
desert.
Like I am deep in the bayou trenches. Literally, it's been giving that vibe for the past 2 weeks. And I'm so confused because I don't know if I spoke this shit up, but it's giving I'm ready to fucking go. That's the vibe right now.
You
It is.
over Nevada,
You said what?
you over Nevada, you over Las Vegas.
I'm over Las Vegas because it just don't never know what it want to do. It don't know what it want to give. Sometimes it's giving hot. Sometimes it's getting hot and muggy. Sometimes it's just trash. It's just giving all of it, and I'm tired. I'm
Oh,
tired.
she sound bipolar with a co-occurring delusional disorder.
She is. She's giving all the things. And because of that, I'm just really kind of at a place where I'm like, do I want to go through this another summer? Because this has been the craziest one. And what's the craziest thing is that every time it thunders and rains, there's this like lightning bolt that literally shows up in the same spot 4 hours every single day. It's giving the Matrix is broken. It's
It's
giving the.
giving friend, you better not have your ass stand in that spot. That's what it's giving.
Yeah. It's giving. It's giving. Nope. It's
No.
giving.
Oh, oh no, oh no, not a joy.
I don't know. I'm just over it. But long story short, I'm just gonna go ahead and keep going with the flow as we keep trying to see what it's giving. So far, today's been great though. The weather has been better. It hasn't been as muggy, but it's still a little bit. But what about you? What's been going on?
See, I was telling the people before you got in here, honey, I swear to God, God is real.
Yeah.
The fact that I still have my day job and they have not met Bre Starr, bitch, I'm telling you, white Jesus has been taping this mouth closed. Do you hear me?
Is it the people?
These people get fucking nerves. This is up until I can make a living off of my name.
Mm-hmm. This is just a pass by job situation. You know what?
All of them. Every time I work for somebody else, it's to pass the motherfucking bills out.
Period. I promise you, I've been facing that kind of same energy. And it's been, I don't know what it's been like for almost the same month. It's been a couple of different projects that I've jumped onto with different people here in the city. And some of them has been great. And other ones, baby, it's just been like a waste of fucking time. And listen, it's so many things about me that I will truly look past. I am such a forgiving person. But wasting my time is a big ass fucking no-no. Do not waste
I feel
time. Precious.
Personally, I feel like time is our greatest resource because that's the one thing that you can't get back. That's the one thing you can't create. Money can be printed every day, but time, baby.
Big old facts. You are right. And I feel like to me, it's been like probably one of the most like strenuous situations that I've ever faced. Only because I am in this like zone where I've left. Okay, so I've been a social worker and I've been a social worker for, I want to say at least the past 5 years almost. And I literally left. You said what happened?
We all do the same thing for a living.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Come on. I can feel it. I can feel it in you. You got that.
But for me,
you be psychoanalyzing everybody, and I feel the vibes.
For me, it's never the patients, it's never the clients, it's never the people. When I leave an organization, when I leave a company, when I leave a nonprofit, I still keep, my bonds and my connections.
Yeah.
It's always the management. Right now, I'm literally I literally have to document what I'm doing every 15 minutes.
Really? But it's giving like I'm trying to just like be on your coattail and see what it is that you're doing to make sure that I'm micromanaging. I don't like micromanaging. That is not the way that I do well when I'm in a work environment. I need you to just show me what it is that I need to do and give me free reign to just fucking do it. And I feel like I've experienced a lot of that. I think that for me, it's been kind of similar when I stopped doing social work. I think I want to say last year. And the reason why I stopped doing social work was because I wanted to put my full energy into becoming a full-time entertainer and educator. And so far, so good. It's been a little rough, obviously, at the beginning because, you're trying to figure out that transition, but it's been great so far overall. But I will say the roughest thing while I was working in the field was the fact that I was one of the youngest people at majority of the times I was at a job. I was the youngest person there. And it's just this complex problem that they don't talk about in human service, that most people are fucking jaded and fucking like sour patch. And they want to make it believe that because you are a like human service worker that you're supposed to be like the type of person where everything is like right and you do everything well and you have this hardest goal. There are some of the most shadiest motherfuckers that work up in that field. And I just was like, mm-mm. And they would tell me, just give it a couple years. You're going to be jaded just like us. And hell the fuck no. I don't ever want to be at a job where I feel like I hate doing the work. I would just stop doing the work. Does that make sense?
It makes complete sense. It makes complete sense. I've honestly I've never understood that idea of doing jobs that you didn't want to do. I grew up experiencing my grandmother dealing with that, working in factories, and that was why she was breaking her back working in factories, so that I would have other options, so that me and my uncle and my auntie and my mom, so that we would have other options. But for me, it's very much given plantation overseer right now. That's what it's given. When I was first hired at the company I worked for,
Mm-hmm.
there were 4 people above me.
Mm-hmm.
All 4 people are Caucasian.
Of course.
Right?
Palm skinned.
Everybody who was on my level, all of the caseworkers were Black.
Mm-hmm.
And it very much gives, I personally feel like, the optics anyway, it very much gives like, you niggas ain't worth this 40K. You got to prove yourself to be worth this 40K. And I'm thinking like, bitch, here I am doing emotional labor when I come to work, psychological labor when I come.
Mm-hmm.
On top of that, you want me to do physical labor. You want me to literally, you want me to literally whisper in your ear every move I make, every second I make a move. Like, are you fucking serious? What if I'm decompressing? What if I just dealt with some emergency crisis?
Big
Like,
old fact.
are you fucking serious? Like, people who need caseworkers are not normally people who live ideal lives. I can't think of a day where I'm going to work and just sitting on my ass for no motherfucking reason.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree. I definitely feel like there is too much. They put the amount of work that you have to do for the amount of pay that you receive is definitely unequal. It's just like unequally yoked. It's not the right capacity. And for me, my biggest problem with it was the idea of, and I could look past the point of the money to a certain extent, because I was like, okay, well, this is something I actually want to do. This is a passion of mine. However, I was like, it's definitely a lot of work compared to the amount of pay. The part that really tripped me up was the environment that I was in. It did not matter where I went, because it was an environment that was very rigid. They don't talk about how rigid it can be working in some of these spaces. And if it's not a space that is meant to be queer directed, which I worked in both queer directed spaces and spaces that was just kind of broad spaces, whether it was in behavioral health, the criminal justice system, literally you could tell the difference in the energy and the way that people treated me. Reason being is because people had lack of education, lack of knowing lack of competency, lack of the ability to know how to engage with somebody that was other than who they was, and literally calling yourselves masters social workers, doctorates in social workers, PhD. And to me, I'm just sitting over here like, you can't even have a fucking
You can't even.
conversation.
You are supposed to be a master. You are supposed to have mastered the art, the technique, the science of communicating with people in vulnerable spaces. And you
Facts.
don't know how to address a non-binary individual. You don't even know how to have a conversation. And you so pressed about a motherfucking pronoun. I could sit and have a whole entire conversation with somebody and never bring up a motherfucking pronoun. The only way I necessary is if you speak in Spanish.
Okay.
Linda, which one is you, Linda?
Facts.
Like, why the fuck do you even need to know, girl? Like,
I feel like that is definitely something that I have had a really hard time navigating for people, not for me, because to me, I've been continuously the same version of myself at all times. I just think that it's been hard for people to digest. And I've had my fair share of discrimination because of stuff like that. And in my head, I try to think of the best way, or I used to try to think of the best way to be digestible to people. And then it kind of like dawned on me one day, like maybe a half a year before I even left social work. I was like, why would I ever try to make myself digestible to individuals who did not even try to meet me at my most authentic space? And this
why
is
make
a
myself
humanitarian job.
digestible? Why try to make yourself digestible to motherfuckers, period?
Come on. And that to me is truly the wake up call, because I felt like I was like living maybe, let's say, 70% capacity into my fullness, right? And I feel like literally that is when 100%, 110, 120 start to fly off the radar of the capacity of honesty and truth I started to give to myself. And when I started to put value into who I was as a person, it literally started to have like a fucking fireball effect. And not only just every part of my career, but everything around me started to feel like.
Every aspect of your wellness. Wellness includes everything: finance, employment, and yes, they could be different things, because you could be financially secure and not have a motherfucking job, trust funds.
Oh, facts.
And wellness is more than just physical and mental health. I'm glad that our people are finally recognizing and hopping on the mental health bandwagon. But I want them to understand that wellness is a complete journey. It's a whole full circle, you know?
Right. You know what? And honestly, this whole thing about wellness, the place that we're in, talking about wellness in society, honestly, it's getting toxic to this point. And the reason why I say it's getting toxic is because people don't understand that there is a balance with everything. People sometimes be like, you know what, I can't fuck with them, or I can't fuck with that energy. It's toxic. It's toxic. It's toxic. This is toxic. This is toxic. Or they say I'm an empath. I can't deal with people making me feel bad, or the energy that they give to me. Baby, just because you can feel the emotion does not mean that it's also not your job to have to regulate how you fucking control yourself with that emotion. You don't have to digest what other people
When
are putting.
you're an empath, that is a gift. Every gift comes with a curse. Just because you can
Yes.
emotion doesn't mean that you have to absorb it. You can channel it and throw it back, honey. That's how I built my platform.
Yes.
Platform on reading motherfuckers. I wasn't just reading people just to be reading them. I was giving people back the negative energy that they was trying to
You were literally returning the sender. And I agree with that. That's the same exact vibe. I feel like if you literally, and my best friend says it all the time, she says sometimes you need to observe and sometimes you need to absorb. Observe and absorb is two different things, right? And the audacity that we as humans think that everything is about us, and we take everything so personal at times. I already know that when somebody comes on my page, the minute that I get on social media with a full juicy beard and a beat ass mug, there's going to be a multitude of reactions. And
look up.
whatever reaction
It's
comes
going
is
to
what
be
they
people
feel.
like that's no shade, going to be lusting and slightly fetishizing.
Yeah. Yeah. You said people gonna be fetishizing?
Like me.
Listen, and I tell you this, I am prepared for every reaction, but it is the love for self that is the reason why no reaction comes close to making me feel like I need to return a reaction in a negative way, or think of myself like, oh, should I reprogram myself? Should I change something about myself? I am very aware that there is people who are fucking under rocks that don't understand that there is more than like other pronouns that they think exist, or other sexualities, gender identities exist, or even that there's even other fucking races and cultures that exist. There is some people who truly just do not know, and ignorance is bliss. So because people naturally think that they just know it all because they only know what they've seen, when you meet someone like me, or you meet somebody who truly is just like allowing themselves to just be in authentic spaces, you are literally seeing like you seen your mind be blown back. You're watching people in real time have their cap blown the fuck back.
Mm-hmm.
And they like some people don't know how to fucking react to it. Some
Mm-hmm.
people, what the fuck? What the fuck is going on?
That like it's no shade. Like and I've said this before on my platform. I view my transness as a superpower. Right.
Come on.
And for me, like, I would never, like, there's a lot of my family members, a lot of friends, people I've dated who hated the fact that I was always involved in activism. Like, I remember when I got my name changed, it had to be printed in the local paper. And I had a family member who was like doing everything he could not to, have it printed in the local paper because he wanted people to see me as stealth. And I'm like, nigga, do you realize I graduated from high school with these people as a nigga?
Right.
They remember. You know what I mean? But
Right.
I say all that to say that for me, being somebody who's typically passable, I love using my superpower and getting that reaction out of people.
I love
I
it.
love people have a chance to absorb me visually.
And just take it on.
Take it all in, taking my aura, taking my vibe, just how I give it up when I'm
And
out.
baby, that vibe is right. When I tell you, there is not one part of you that is not, and I mean that in every essence. It is truly a treat to literally be in your energy.
Friend, don't do that. Don't do that while we just getting started, friend. But I'm saying that just to say that I like the multitude of reactions. I like peeling people's cat back, and it's not just for the dramatics of it all, even though that in itself is wonderful. But it's also for the education of it all.
Absolutely.
You thought you knew everything. You thought
but
you knew.
Here's a little bit more.
And men hate the fact that women like me exist, passable trans women exist, because we make them re-question their whole perception,
Yes.
womanhood, sexuality, heterosexuality, presentation, all of the things. And I would never live stealth. Not only am I taking that opportunity away from the quote unquote bad people if I were to live stealth, but I would be taking that opportunity away from the good people who want an avenue to us. I was once a cis-identifying individual, and I'm grateful for the trans women who I met, who I would have never guessed were trans had they not told me.
I agree, and I do feel like you said, it's a whole superpower that comes from the idea of taking back the power that society thought that they had given. Because I think that a lot of people, the goal and this toxic goal that standard has been set in society, especially in trans society, is to be passable as much as possible, right? And if you can become as passable, then that means that you're supposed to live this like stealth lifestyle. For those of you who are watching, stealth is the idea of being able to live without being able to be clocked or be able to be shown as saying somebody that I am a trans individual. So basically living under the radar as a cisgendered person. So long story short, I definitely feel as if the power comes from the fact that you are taking back what it is that somebody told you should be ashamed of in the first place, and saying, okay, here's this, but also here's that, and what the fuck you gonna do? Because bitch, I'm living. It's a fucking vibe. And I feel very similar in my own way. It was a couple years ago that I decided to actually embrace my facial hair. And the reason why I decided to embrace my facial hair was because when I found out that I was non-binary, because it was a discovery. You know what I'm saying? Like it was literally a ebb and flow into me becoming more of myself through the journeys of what I thought society wanted from me. It started out as a gay boy, right? And then it went into, well, maybe I'm a trans woman. And then literally over time, it just like, it was I was showcasing this all along to myself, and I just did not know because there was no language put to this. And I was like, I don't feel like I am any one thing. I feel like I'm all things and nothing at all times. I feel so in touch with this energy that is just mystical, that I don't feel like it's coming from this idea of this overt masculine, this overt feminine, or fitting this box. And I feel like sometimes for me, I felt like it was a jail. Literally having to say that I was this or that was putting this parameter around me as a person, where somebody was then saying that you need to fit into this narrative. So if you're a monkey, then jump like a monkey. If you duck, then quack like
I want
a. And
I want to
it's,
pick off that point, friend, because I think you said something that's really important that I want to delve into. Um, First off, I want to just make a note about what you said about you explaining the self identity. For me, I want to imagine, because we do in our society see being passable as this ultimate goal. For a lot of trans people, being passable is the ultimate goal, right? Imagine living a stealth life and you not being able to expose and talk about and discuss a
mm-hmm,
whole section, a whole portion, a whole timeline of your identity. You know,
mm-hmm,
there are some trans women who feel differently,
mm-hmm,
and their feelings are valid. But for me, I feel like I would be being dishonest to myself, being dishonest to my experience, and being dishonest to everyone around me if I were not to recognize the fact that at one point I lived my life identifying as a gay male. I lived my life being seen and treated as a gay male. So that definitely has an effect on me. That is something that a cisgender woman did not experience,
mm-hmm,
you know? Um,
mm-hmm,
but even bigger than that, friend, you said that you went through a discovery and discovering your non binary identity.
mm-hmm.
And you said that you thought about the possibility of being a trans woman.
Mm-hmm.
What made you? I've struggled similarly. I killed that.
Mm-hmm.
But I struggled in a similar way. For me, it was the opposite. At first, I identified as non-binary before non-binary was even a thing. You know,
Right,
they
right,
a drag queen. You know,
right.
um, but I identified as non-binary for a long time, and it took me a while to accept the identity of trans woman, because for me it was a fear. I felt like it was too much baggage to take on. I felt like it came with too much pressure. It came with this pressure of surgery. It came with this pressure of not having the option of passing as a boy or
Mm-hmm.
passing as a gay boy. It came with this fear of everything that comes along with being a trans woman, which is not typically living until 36.
Yes,
You know,
yes.
so I'm curious for you, what was the deciding factor, or what has been the influence that's led you to the non-binary identity versus just a tomboy or an androgynous trans femme identity?
Well, I will say that I actually lived my life for half a year as identifying as a full trans woman. Reason being is because in my head, I was like, this was the only option that was given to me based off of what I knew or what I was educated about. So I was kind of forcing myself to fit this narrative. So for me, and I knew that I could be, in the terminology of societal standards, passing, because it was the idea of literally, I would make sure I shaved my beard. I would make sure that I did everything that it took to be a pretty girl, right? So in my head, I was like, oh my gosh, I mean, like, I know that I could do this, but in my head, it did not feel, it was almost like there was a piece that was missing. And I think that the idea was very simple my entire life. I knew that I did not feel like the boy that people would say I was, but I knew that I did not feel like I wanted to every single day walk down the street as this woman, right? I knew that there was just this energy where I was almost like this grand design of both and all things and nothing. It was almost like okay, so let me just tell you how it started for me. I'm a superhero fanatic. I have a Marvel sweater on right now. I have a whole sleeve full of tattoos, which is nothing but
I
superheroes.
have a whole collection that I won't show anybody because y'all girls are trying.
Oh, I'm so happy, friend. You're gonna have to show me later. Listen, I am such a superhero fanatic, right? So when I was young, my jump start into gender identity came from the inception of people like Storm and people on these shows that I watch, like let's say the Winx Club or some shit like that, right? Saturday morning cartoon type shit.
Right.
And I'm watching these shows and I'm looking at how amazing they are and the essence and the energy. And in my head, I was like, I resonate deeply with these people. And then as I got older, I'm like 12 and 13, and I had a very big imagination even then. So like literally, while most people, I have a twin brother. My twin brother name is Del Rico, who is, I think I told you already, is a complete thug. He is literally the complete opposite than me. And
My
literally,
brother is too, and I, we grew up in the same house, and I helped raise him, and we are complete.
the complete opposite. You said you said you're a twin?
No, I'm not a twin, but I have a little brother, and it's crazy. Like I said, we grew up in the same house. I used to babysit him, have him out with me,
Yes.
and people always thought that I was just babysitting some child or whatever. Thought he might have been my cousin or something. Like a
Your
long time
sibling.
ago, that he was my brother, just because our personalities are polar opposites. Like, he's a extroverted introvert. I'm a introverted extrovert. Like, our person, he's the type to like to be around people, but he seems quiet. I'm the type that prefers to be alone, but I'm very loud. So
Literally, and our stories are very similar because my twin brother was literally extremely popular, extremely likable, and he always hung out with people that was literally like 3 times our age. So when we were 14, he was hanging out with people that was 17, 18, and he always acted more mature than his age. And he had facial hair. I think he had like a full damn beard by the time he was 14. And I kid you not, I had this like little baby face. I was short and my voice was even lighter than it is now. And I just was very like innocent and doughy eyed, and you could just immediately tell the difference. And I was never in a rush to grow up. I feel like I've always had this energy of wisdom that came from like the upper room. But I feel as if I still always had this innocence also, that I could literally play with the kids in the neighborhood and then go sit with the parents of their kids for hours and talk about life. And I'm like 12, 13, and we talking about all kind of shit. But the reality of it is that we were so different. But when you're a twin, you're getting constantly compared, right? So I did not even have a name. I was Joe's little brother for I don't know how long, right? And the reality of it was very simple. I had I had this low self-esteem. I had this energy of not wanting to be able to, I didn't want to have nobody to focus on me. I was scared to be talked about. I would shrink. I would wear extra baggy clothes because I didn't want nobody to talk about how my natural walk was, which was always a switch and always a limp wrist, okay? And it literally was just me being the essence of who I was at all times. But because I lived in Flint, Michigan, which is one of the worst cities in America, I kid you not, I was constantly being berated by people. So because of that, I had to learn how to shrink myself to not be seen. Hey, Amarion, this is my little cousin on here right now. So long story short, leading to who I became as my journey started to unravel, it was so many things that led to me being open with who I was more and more. But the realization was I knew that I did not fit a category of what society told me I fit. But I did not know it was titled non-binary until more recent history, because we're just now giving major languages to things that has always existed. And I think that I don't know, I'm just super glad that I am in that space where I can be very honest about where I am, and to be able to know that there's a community of people that also understand that. But even within our community, there has been so many biases that has faced me because of me being who I am. I will give an example. When I first started to go viral via TikTok, there was so many individuals, specifically trans individuals, who would write me, trans femme, who would literally message me and be like, you are not trans. Like, get the fuck out of here. Da da da. This and the third. Saying all kind of vicious, hateful comments, whatever. So in my head, I'm like, okay, to you, block. Like, what the
Babe,
fuck? Because
I'm gonna tell you what I think that is based off of my experience. I think what that is a whole bunch of young girls who can't take them motherfucking hormones. Honey, them hormones start hitting them. Women are naturally catty because estrogen is an irritant. Estrogen makes us get on our own motherfucking nerves, and we want to take it out on everybody. I'm real big enough to admit that. A lot of these hoes won't admit that because they want to only know the positive attributes that come along with estrogen. But a lot of these hoes is just irritated, can't handle their irritation, probably mad because you look better than them in the sense of more confidence. You show it, you express feeling better than they feel. And them hoes can't take. Also, realistically, 9 out of 10 times, people like you and I both are 9 out of 10 times going to attract a lot of the same people. Without a beard, don't matter. People will act like it does in public. You with a beard, don't matter. People will act like it does in public.
You better know that's the tea in China, because
and that's another thing that I think a lot of girls get upset about. To be honest, I think a lot of girls view transitioning as a caveat to attracting or having access to a certain type of man, a masculine man.
For all the wrong reasons, you are literally changing aspects of yourself. I agree.
So imagine if I'm thinking to myself, oh, this is an advantage in me transitioning and becoming a woman and doing all this extra shit outside of hormones and laser and surgery. I got to think about getting my nails done, keeping my hair done, learning how to do makeup, dressing like something, looking like something, being perceived as a slut, being perceived as a prude. You know, outside of all these things I got to worry about, this is supposed to be the caveat, this particular type of man. But yes, now I've transitioned. I didn't already seen that this particular type of man is attracted to femininity. That's attached to penis. Have to go this far to get that man, and I know that person don't either. So since I have all this extra bullshit, I got to take it out on somebody. I'm at the bottom of the pole, and you down here with me, bitch.
Listen, you're gonna be at that motherfucking bottom by your goddamn self.
And I think,
really be swimming with your ass in the trenches. And that is facts. And you are speaking complete truth. And I feel like it is a projection, obviously, that is being placed upon people who are choosing to live in the most authentic space, despite the fact that society says it needs to fit, it needs to look like this, it needs to fit like this, it needs to be like this. I have literally based my whole life, and the reason why I have turned my career into this full-time situation is because it was a calling placed on me by spirit, I truly believe, to truly be a person who is a bell ringer for the fact that you can exist as you are and fit every damn dream that you want and make it into reality. I am a master manifester. I can create anything that I want at any point in time in my life. There is no blockages. There is nothing in my way. There is nobody that could ever demonize me, bring me down, tear me apart, rip me to shreds if I do not allow it. I am bigger, better, and stronger than all things that's coming in my direction, and I know it, and people know it. And because it is you're going to pull in two different type of energies at all times. If you living in your truth and you are being strong and authentic to who you are, you're going to pull two energies at all times. It's going to be an energy that loves you and appreciates you and values you. That's going to see you for your queendom, your kingdom, for the energy that you allow to just exist and exalt. And then there's going to be people who see all that, and they're going to hate you for it, because they're going to say, how fucking dare you shine? How fucking dare you dust yourself off and allow your light to be whatever the fuck it's supposed to have been, when I'm over here trying to figure out how to fucking make my shit do that. And the reality of it is, it's not because somebody's looking at you telling you, haha, bitch, you're there. It's because you want somebody to be there with you, instead of saying, hey, show me what it is that you did, because I want to do it in my own way to work for me. Because there is people like us who literally who dedicate our time to literally putting our hand and saying, baby, come on. The weather is nice up here. Come on. Like, let's get it.
Join me.
But
I
you
want
with the
the with me.
intention, the low self-esteem, with the energies of negative self-thought, is looking like, no, how about you come back down here? No, never again. Never
And
again. I've been that person. Never again will I ever talk to myself in a negative way.
if I was to go back down there, honey, the girls wouldn't be able to take. I was a destructive little bitch. Do
I
you
can only imagine.
have the
You use
option?
powers for good.
Baby,
And I love it.
you know what they say. They say somebody who can manipulate is somebody who can inspire. Now I'm inspiring. I'll just say that.
I love that about you. Well, let me ask you this question then. Since you've gotten to such a place where you can tell that you have switched your energy to make sure that you are aligning it with building and growing not only yourself, but the environment and people around you, to make sure that you are spreading love, what do you feel like has been like the biggest reason for that shift?
I get this question a lot, and I think it's taken for you to get the genuine answer out of me, and not out of intention of me hiding the answer, but of me not really knowing the answer at that time. But I've had time to think about it. The light switch for me went off when I had my first seizure in public.
Mm.
Or it was a long journey for me to be diagnosed epileptic, but I started having these periods where I would kind of black out, but
Mm-hmm.
be alone.
Mm.
Or one time it had happened in school. I had got overwhelmed. I was trying to break up a fight between some girls that I knew. And I had got overwhelmed. It's kind of like I blanked out and I was really disoriented. Of course, looking back, all of those instances were seizures. And I didn't know until I was in the drill team, major rat vibes. And we was out in the Maryland summer heat, honey, this muggy, condensated motherfucking heat out here, honey. And we was practicing hard. You know how the girls do.
Getting to it.
I was non-binary identifying at the time. And I wasn't this along, to be completely honest, along with all that, during that time I was in the midst of an addiction. I was abusing opioids. I wasn't eating properly. I was trying to figure out my transition. It was just so many mental health things were not taken care of. Mental health was completely unmanaged, and that caused everything to fail. Biggest thing being my physical health. Long story short, we out there practicing in the heat. I'm standing on the side of my grandmother's house while we taking a break, smoking a blunt. Next thing I know, I'm on the concrete. Everybody's around me screaming, people running. Yeah, I get to the hospital. By the time I realize what's going on, half of the skin on half of my face is gone because it was so hot outside that when I seized on the hot concrete, it was approximately 100 degrees. We shouldn't even have been practicing outside in that heat, for real.
Yeah.
But yeah, me seizing on the hot concrete, I literally grated the skin off of one side of my face, and I still don't know how that shit grew back. But yeah, I had pictures to prove it. I heal well.
You do.
But that was, for me, that was the light switch, because that was the first moment that I realized that I wasn't invincible. That was the first time that I realized I don't have forever. I got to live this life, and I got to live it to the fullest. And I was I was procrastinating. Up until that point, I was procrastinating with my identity and how to be seen in the world. I was conflicted with myself on how I viewed myself. And And yeah, I was really just trying to ignore it and put it in the back of my head and put it to the side. And that was the deciding factor then that I was going to transition and I was going to attempt to be seen in the world and present as a woman. And ever since that journey began, it literally made me feel so good within myself that it just started to radiate all around me. You know, even now it is, I've lost count, but it's been well over 10 years since I started HRT, since I started hormones. Um, and it still blows my mind that people recognize my energy. It blew my mind that I started to come on TikTok and go viral. Like, and then once is a fluke, but when it starts to happen consistently, it's like, wow, people are still seeing something in me that I'm struggling to see in myself. So,
Um,
so yeah, so the light switch has turned, but even now it's still a journey for me because I was in such a dark place. I was born in the gutter, you know.
mm, you know what? First of all, that is so freaking powerful. It makes no sense. And the fact that you have truly been able to have this like discovery moment with yourself, it really does showcase right there how far and how visible you've gotten to yourself.
Mm,
And I think that that is where the beauty shines from. It shines from this authentic space where you don't think of yourself as right or wrong, the villain or the victor. You think of yourself as this experience that you've been multituding into where you are today. And I will just say also, I know, I could tell you from an outside perspective, which I'm probably sure you heard from 1,001 people of your supporters, right? One thing I can tell you though in this live is that you have this, you have a wisdom that has been given to you. It's almost like I don't know if you're spiritual or not, but you have this spiritual knowing and knowledge. But you also have you're able to put it in such a way that allows people to be happy, to laugh with you, to enjoy you. And you use every essence of who you are in your most altruistic form to literally just be. And it encourages people so much to be
mm,
themselves because of how you do it so effortlessly. When I first seen you, right, I already knew in my heart. I don't know what it was, but I felt it, and I could see you. I could tell that as time was going on, you were getting more and more confident in the fact that you were in front of this camera talking your truth. I could tell that first you were saying things that you knew that was necessary to say, but you was also thinking about what is the second behind the scenes of this that's gonna happen. You are so comfortable, and you could just tell how it's just become second nature for you. You are a beast at what you do, and I can only see it becoming bigger and better as time goes
I,
on.
gonna make me cry.
I mean every single word of it, and I just I know I don't even know your full story, but I can only assume that you have failed at times prior, especially prior to your
Ah!
transition. I know that you have felt invisible. I know that you have felt like you were like the eyeball, like people didn't see you. And I know that this space, and the reason why you are lit up is because Spirit has this funny way of giving us more than what we even ask for when we prepare ourselves for it. That is the beauty of being on your design and divine path, is when you allow yourself to just be open to what life has for you. Life is going to give you tons more than what you thought you even think you needed. And you there. And it's only just the tip of the iceberg. Imagine what's going to happen next. I'm excited. I'm excited for you because I see it and I feel it, and I resonate with you on a very deep level because I understand it on personal levels in my life too. You just know. But I appreciate you for sharing that with me because you could have gave me a very generic answer and would have been like, "Well, because I'm the baddest bitch. That's why." You really deep dived, and I appreciate that. That's how you can. That's why you have people who watch you
Hmm.
because you deep and you ain't scared of that shit.
Honestly, friend, I have goosebumps. Number one, um, And number two, I appreciate you having the candor to express that to me. And you assumed I've heard it 1,000 times before, but I haven't. I have.
Mhm.
And the point that you made earlier about balance, there's balance in everything, and there's balance in things that we don't even realize. There's balance in the pretty girl, there's balance in the star. I'm insecure too. I I question myself as well. For example, I thought that presenting, I was very hesitant to present my personality on social media because I came on here expecting everyone to hate me. I came on here expecting to be perceived as a villain, and the feedback that I've gotten and the connections that I've created, you being one, Monroe being another. Hey, Monroe. um, they're just examples of they're examples to remind me that the universe is real and the things that I feel are real, and my spirituality is real. I've felt like I've always felt like, even growing up in a small town, the reason I moved to the city, I always felt like I honestly was in a fishbowl. I felt like I
Mhm.
was always hiding, even when I was in public. I felt like I wasn't completely doing my part. I wasn't completely doing what I was sent here to do.
Mhm.
And I realized, and I'm on the journey of accepting now the fact that I realized I was put here to be a voice. I was put here to be a perspective. I was put here to be a representation of the balance. And I always felt inadequate and always second guessed myself because I was always trying to dim my own shine. As you said, shrink myself. I didn't want to be seen too much. But baby, I'm here now, honey. This
Oh, baby, shining bright as stars in the sky and the sun. And you know, the brightest star is the sun. And it's a saying that I've said before. It is literally the difference between the sun and a star is that it shines the brightest in the dark. And the reality of it is that it is those dark moments that you've went through that is the reason why you have such a perspective and a balance of knowing how to see all perspectives when discussing topics, when giving your truth a reality, and also knowing how to give it in different levels and dosages. People do need that sturdy energy, and people do need that shisty, strong energy, and people also do need that soft energy, and you can deliver it all. And that's literally the fucking vibe. You get what I'm saying? So
that's
like one
that's
dimensional
a compliment.
is definitely the last word that would ever be listed on your motherfucking resume. And it's nice. And if you haven't started, if you haven't heard it yet, trust and believe you're going to be hearing it a lot in your life. Because as you continue to grow, I can only imagine it happening. I think we discussed this before, but I kind of want to, I want to kind of like rehash it over. What is it that you want to see happen in your life, in the journey that you've been on so far? You can see obviously that anything is possible. You know what I'm saying? Based off of who we were, based off of who we are, based off of who we can see ourselves becoming. What do you want to see happen?
Um, it's funny because I keep hearing I am the love child of Oprah, Ellen, and but I think associations are something that humans naturally do. In a lot of ways, I see myself the being like a mix between Jay-Z and Jordan Peele and Oprah, for
Word.
lack of better references. Just because
See?
she's a media mogul, she's the reference. I I want to use my voice, definitely continue using my voice. I don't think I have a choice in that. Um, I think I'm going to be forced in this life to use this voice until I get one. But honestly, I've always been a person who felt more comfortable behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm.
So my ultimate goal is to be the film writer. You know, my ultimate goal is to be the consummate songwriter. My ultimate goal is to be one of those people who shifts the culture from behind the scenes. I
Period.
I want to be that. I have scripts written and screenplays and songs and recordings that aren't released, and they're, you know, just looking for somebody to sing them. You know,
Sure.
it's so many things, and there's so many things that I'm doing right now um behind the scenes to try and prove that I'm not just a voice or you know, just a pretty face.
Mm.
But that's my ultimate goal. That's my ultimate goal, to
I,
get behind the scenes and help shift the culture, help to continue push people like you and I in the forefront.
I love that, to change and shift the narrative, to be at the front of the conversation. I think that honestly, that is probably where it is one of the most necessary places that we need people to be in, right? And the fact that you have just this overall desire for it, I truly know that it would be a groundbreaking place, because if you do think about people like Jordan Peele and some of the game changers, even Regina King, like the idea of these people who have went in front of the cameras and then went behind the cameras and started making shit shake because of the fact that they just had this vision that they knew was given to them to push the culture. I can guarantee to you it will happen. And keep me posted, because you know she's an artsy girl. I love all the things. So I would love to collaborate on something in the future. You just keep me
Yes,
posted if
yes. I'm waiting. I have so many ideas. But as soon as I can get to a place where I can supplement my minimal income that I'm getting at the moment. I have started some to supplement some, but
sure.
I get to a place where I can truly live off of my brand, like I said, I'm hitting it. I'm hitting it to the studio. I'm getting this EP out there. I don't care about numbers. I know it's going to revolve around the industry because
Yeah.
it's going to be real art and it's going to buy everything I write. I'm a bop writer. You know, had I truly been given.
Sure. I will also say there's people that I see in this live, like my friend Deanna, who is an artist. She signed to, I don't know which record label she just recently got signed to, but she could tell you. But I want some of y'all to go, well, I want all y'all to go and add her, because I want y'all to be able to keep connected for future events or whenever something does come up, to where y'all can have those connections. So please make sure that y'all add each other. But
I
I
followed
agree.
her.
Her. I agree with you. I definitely think that it's all about changing the narrative and doing things. And I think that that to me is the overall mission as well. It's literally the idea of making sure that I do whatever gifts has been given to me, to use them to literally educate, to enlighten, to entertain. But I want to always send a message. I don't care if you laugh at the message, or you think it's a funny message, or if you cry from the message. Just know that everything I do has to have an instinct message added to it.
Hmm?
Now, I ain't gonna, some things I do be goofy as fuck just because I like to laugh,
But
but
make you
majority of things.
that's what an artist's job is. I ultimately consider myself an artist. Honestly,
Yeah.
I hide behind the title psychologist and I hide behind the title activist because that's what people give me credit as. That's what I'm credited as. But
Mm-hmm.
I honestly view myself as an artist, and I feel like us as artists, it's our job really to just make people feel, to take
Yes.
nothing out of the sky and turn it into a feeling.
Yes. Yes. You are absolutely right about that. And I definitely think that we are, I don't know, I think I can say that the throat chakras is definitely open, wide open. And I think that it's just a blessing to be able to be in this space. to be able to say our truth, to speak our truth, to be honest about everything we feel and not even, I don't know, just second guess the thought patterns about it and let the chips fall where they may. Now, what can I say about the idea of life so far? If we had to sum life up for you right now in a word, what word would that be?
On angst,
Angst.
angst,
You
angst.
said
It's because it's so many, just like with a teenage angst.
it made me think about Degrassi.
Yeah, that's what it makes me. That's kind of how I feel right now. I feel like a schoolgirl again, and it's just because there are so many things happening at once. There's so many new emotions, so many
Yeah.
new experiences. I'm starting to view the world in a completely different light, and this light has so many more colors. You
Mm,
um there's so many things that have my attention, but
mm-hmm.
I can't, but I'm distracted by so many other things. It's like there's so many things happening. I'm just attempting to process it all while it happens.
Yes. I agree with that. I feel like I feel like I don't know, I say floating is the word. I would say honestly, I am floating. I'm like in this place where I felt like I don't know. I feel like life has always kind of been like an uphill battle at first, where I was always continuously trying to get to some point or to some goal. I didn't even know what the goal was. I just was always working to something, and I think that life has truly became a floating experience for me because I'm just vibing with the vibes. I'm literally allowing life to happen and I'm doing best as life is going on rather than trying to fight this uphill battle. I don't feel like that no more. And I allow things to come to me or leave me naturally. I allow opportunities to float to me naturally. And I do my part when they do. I don't half step. I do my very best to give my best, but I also don't try to force. And I just think that that has been the best thing that has ever happened to me. The opportunities flow because I sat the fuck back and was like, okay, bring them on. You know, it's just a nice vibe instead of me like, where's the next one? What's going to happen next? You know, it's very much like, I don't know. And I used to have this OCD-ish controlling energy about stuff because I had a fear that if I didn't, things would just crumble because I felt like the foundation wasn't sturdy, and I just
Mhm.
don't feel like um, anything that's mine could ever fucking break. You get what I'm saying? If it's mine, it's not gonna break.
It's
If it
true.
belongs to me, it's not gonna just crumble in my fingertips. So I don't know. I just feel very floaty and light, which
Mm.
is a feeling for me. It's
I'm
dope.
I'm waiting. I'm waiting to get there, friends. Honestly, the place that you are speaking of transitioning out of, I feel like that's the space that I have transitioned into, and it could
Mm-hmm.
very well be related to pursuing art and entertainment right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm at the precipice. I'm at the threshold. I'm at the beginning. You know, I am very much like, oh my God, what's next? Who's going to see me
Mm-hmm.
next? Who's going to offer me an opportunity next? What's going to be my next idea? How will I execute? You know, it's always it's like every day that I wake up, you know, it's
Yes.
that I'm scared to even look at my phone because I don't
Yeah.
know what's
It
next.
can be very what is the word? It can become very um I can't even think of the right word for it, but it can make you just kind of sit in frozen almost. It can make you feel like I don't even want to know because it's like it's the idea of comparing yourself to the to what is happening or what is possible. And or at least that what was for me. It was the idea of like this opportunity is presenting. Now I'm really thinking about the opportunity. I'm trying to think what that looks like, or if this is an opportunity, or if I do to this opportunity, can I actually give what it needs to give? When I was that anything that's literally
Oh,
because you have the already been
I
chosen,
know.
consecrated, and already been uplifted for position,
I never
or the
really think
position would
about.
be centering around.
Oh, you breaking up, Frank? Can you hear me?
Oh, sorry, what's going on?
Break up. You started breaking up. It's delayed.
You hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
I'm sorry. It's on like 9% fucking bullshit.
It's still
But
it's
okay,
still
but
giving.
I was saying, can you hear me now?
It's giving,
It'll give him flippy floppy.
baby. It's giving guillotine, honey. She trying to chop us off at the neck. I don't know what we done said that they
I'm
made white
breaking
people
up.
that,
At the
but
Apollo music
tag
moan.
off the live, honey.
Right. Well, I will say this before we go ahead and log out, because I need you to know I am once again excited to see what is going to happen for you next. I am knowing that there is going to be tons of experiences that comes on. I'm going to tell you what I know in this transition of place that you are in, just in the inner emotional portion of it. Take those deep breaths, which I'm pretty sure you already do, and literally allow yourself to just be in that moment and say, I'm fucking where I didn't even expect to be, and enjoy it. And literally, when the next one comes, fucking enjoy that shit too. And whatever it is that you want to do, work hard to execute it, and just enjoy it. If you do not enjoy it, it's going to be a whole bunch of, yeah, I did feel how you felt about it. It's going to be a totally different connotation to what the experience was with the achievement and accolade. Make sure you enjoy everything you're fucking doing, because you're doing fucking great already. Okay.
Baby, all you gotta do is know that you will stay posted. Just know whenever your collaboration is needed, I will be reaching out. Baby, you ain't got to worry about me enjoying. That's why I have so many sour grapes for the executives who turned me down in the early 2000s when I was pursuing music, because they missed out. They
Sure.
missed. This ain't work to me. You can't. It's not work when you're doing what you love.
Do it because you love it. Absolutely.
I love
Absolutely.
it. I love it. I have a whole entire consuming career and I still make time for this because I just genuinely love it.
Because it's genuinely what the fuck you are designed to do. It's the vibes. It's on your path, baby. But okay, so I will say that so much love for you, and I am so excited for the next time that we have our tea time. And you keep me posted
Yes.
whenever I will jump on the live, hop, skip, and squirt, if that's the right word, to you.
Baby, so we were playing it out. As you can see, I wasn't bullshitting you. I am here for the shenanigans with you
I
in the
love it.
time. And I
I love
love
it.
you. I love you, baby. And everybody who is out in the chat, peace, love, and blessings. Excuse
Yeah.
me. I'm a little choked up, but peace, love, and blessings to everybody out in the chat. Thank you for supporting me. Thank you for supporting Rio. Thank you for supporting Black queerness.
Yes, all the support. We sending y'all all the love. Thank you so much, and we will see y'all next time. Bye.